This is our second fusion opera. The first fusion opera was premiered November the 5th, 2022. This year is the 100 years of the Chinese Exclusion Act. I came from Hong Kong in 1975, so I didn't study any Canadian history. So I didn't know about Canadian history until I started the first fusion opera. That opera was about someone whose father was Chinese and mother was indigenous. So when I searched in the internet about information, then I learned about this Chinese Exclusion Act. This is going to be premiere 2025. But we just finished the draft of the script. Mr. Stephen Atkins, our playwrights, and we are very lucky to have him helping us. And 我哋依家呢個咧就係新派粵劇，第一個咧就係道具大師嘅尋根夢，呢個係第二個叫做醒魂，係講關於咧排華法案，加拿大聯邦政府咧喺1923年啊，咁咧依家啱啱18年啦。The first part is going to be a historical context of the story. The Exclusion Act, I think everybody knows that they just target the Chinese in those times. They came as mostly they were hired to do the Canadian Railway, and it took many years to finish. 600 Chinese labor lost their life because the hardship and the discriminations during that time. 我哋嘅中國人咧，好多係賣豬仔啊，去到北美洲咧就係想掘金啊，希望可以咧翻嚟咧好多錢咧，翻到嚟嘅屋企咧會住得好啲啦。但係咧其實佢哋唔知道嚟到咧，佢哋係俾人賣咗豬仔。咁好多咧就喺鐵路度做嘢啦。咁有600個差唔多鐵路嘅工人咧係死咗嘅，因為啲工作情況實在太壞啦。Actually, that's what's before the Exclusion Act. The government already put head tax in. The first is $50, $100, $500 US at that time, how much it would be. A lot of money, and also especially people who pay it might not be well off. 中國移民嗰時仲未有呢個排華法案咧，加拿大政府咧就已經引入呢個人頭稅啦。喺1885年咧，佢哋就$50，1900-18，然後500。就係你如果你想入嚟加拿大咧，你就要俾呢啲錢，因為好多老公嚟咗咧，老婆都仔女喺中國咧，咁佢哋冇錢俾啊，冇辦法同翻嚟，即係同個爸爸團聚啦。This guy paid $500 at that time in 1913. Either he borrowed money or he is well off. In 1923, the Chinese Exclusion Act was introduced on July the 1st. It was the Canada Day, but the Chinese said it's a humiliation day. It lasts for 24 years. And even Canadian born at that time, they need to get a certificate. Mandate that everybody has to register, otherwise they will have to pay $500, death penalties, or go to jail. 呢個排華法案咧就係1923年嘅，咁係7月1日正式開始。咁當時嗰啲中國人咧就唔係，就叫佢就係屈辱日啊。咁就禁止所有嘅加拿大所有嘅人移民加拿大24年咁長，咁係淨係針對中國人嘅啫。咁就算係你係喺呢個加拿大出世嘅咧，即係唔會話你係 Canadian citizen， 但係加拿大公民嘅。So when the people who were born here at that time, they were not considered as Canadian citizen. 咁如果你唔遵守嘅咧，同埋佢哋要你哋登記嘅 ，then they also introduced that the Chinese Canadians have to register. So just the Chinese Canadians, not the rest of the Canadians. If you don't register, you'll get fined for $500, and you have 12 months to register. This is one of the registration of this Mary Kwang, 1924. And then in 1947, the repeal of the Chinese Exclusion Act. Why? Because at that time, it was after the Second World War. Canada was one of the signatories to the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. So how could he not repeal this act if he's talking about human rights? So I think that was the primary reason why they repeal it. 206 Prime Minister Stephen Harper offered a full apology. And then 2014, Premier Christine Clark also apologized. across Canada, British Columbia placed many harsh regulations on Chinese at that time. 1947年排華法案就俾廢除咗啦。點解佢哋廢除呢？就因為加拿大嗰時第二次世界大戰之後呢，加拿大係其中一個國家咧係簽署世界人權宣言啊。咁你諗下啦，如果你係簽署世界人權宣言，但係你喺國內咧對啲中國人咁差嘅咧，咁係一個虛偽嘅國家，所以佢哋咪將呢個排華法案取消咯。2006年咧就嗰個哋嘅總理 Stephen Harper 咧就正式向全加拿大嘅中國人道歉嗰個人口稅啦。咁2014年咧 BC 省個省長Christy Clark 又正式向我哋中國人華人咧道歉，因為當時咧全部加拿大咁多個省份 BC 省係最苛刻嘅對於中國人，佢哋有好多例係禁止中國人做嘅。After we learn about the history of the Canadian, I find it is a very good subject that we would like to do. The most important thing is let people know about this. 喺醒雲，我哋係希望呢一個沉重嘅歷史多啲人知道啊！我相信好多中國人都唔會知嘅，尤其是如果唔喺度長大而冇喺讀過歷史嘅加拿大歷史。如果佢哋有機會睇到呢出戲，佢都知道當時我哋嘅Chinese Canadian 佢哋受嘅苦啊！咁所以咧，我哋做呢一個咧，就希望除咗睇我哋嘅粵劇咧，就知道多啲加拿大歷史咯。Now is the meeting the masterminds behind the awakening。我哋介紹下我哋嘅 awakening 嘅幕後。First of all, let's introduce our playwright, Mr. Stephen Atkins.
Shall I take that one? Thank you so much, Rosa. Well, it's really a really great honor and really very, very fun to be here for this workshop. And I guess what I can tell you is it's been a real pleasure to work on this as a project. It has been a collaboration. Rosa continuously credits me as the playwright, but I see myself as a co-playwright, in fact, as a staff writer. Rosa, the entire story of this is from Rosa's mind, her creative brilliance. And she sent me scenarios for 7 acts. And they, of course, are very riveting. It's a very, very good story, well told. And my job was to embellish that and develop the characters. And, of course, she left it to me to do it with my style of storytelling, with my training and my skills. And I think that's a very, very nice way to collaborate, because then I sent it back to her, and she edited it, and now we're going to be reading that edited script. Now, bearing in mind that it is still a work in progress, and it will become music, it will become visual language as well. So what we're seeing here is sort of like the most rough version of the story. But I think what I wanted to also sort of impart was how really quite unique it is to be an artist and to be invited to work with another culture. And I still find it very, very, still a lovely, new, beautiful thing for me. Because I work in theater primarily. I do have lots of colleagues, and I have worked in film. But I find that in theater, the dialogue is really important. In film, the dominant concern is representation. But in theater, it's an opportunity for us to combine our storytelling traditions and create a new way of telling stories. So it goes deeper than representation and about how we combine our minds and our culture and how we represent our histories. That was a shadow in Canadian history, the Exclusion Act. And it is important to tell that story. And the story that Rosa has written is very positive, it's very uplifting, and it's really about the human spirit. So it's been great working on it.
我哋個劇作家咧就係 Stephen Atkins， 就係喺Capilano University 教戲劇嘅。除咗戲劇之外咧，又係電影啦，又係個導演啦、作家啦。咁就喺加拿大啊、英國、美國、中國都去同埋澳洲。So are you Canadian?
I was born in Calgary, but I'm also Australian. I'm an Australian permanent resident, and I'm a UK citizen.
That's
My parents
good.
got around.
Stephen 佢係喺 Calgary 出世嘅，但佢又有澳洲籍、英國籍。我係點樣識 Stephen 嘅咧 ？How do I met Stephen? He invited me to do a workshop at his theatre class. Actually, we did one yesterday.
Yes.
So it was a lot of fun. When I start thinking about the awakening, last time when we did the prop master stream, we wrote the script strictly ourselves. So, but this time I think I need to learn that because Cantonese opera is different from other genre. So I think maybe I should get English-speaking theater specialist to be our playwrights. So I asked Stephen, would you be able to help us?
And I said yes.
所以咧，因為我點解我揾阿 Stephen 做咧？因為咧，我哋上一次我哋寫個道具大師入尋根夢嗰時咧，就係我哋啦，有 Bernie 幫手啦 ，Heidi 有幫手啦，咁啊 April 咧幫我手嘅。咁我哋諗下，今次如果我哋做個新嘅，我應該試下，即係應該請個主流社會嘅外國人，咁我可以認識下佢哋嗰邊方面點樣做嘢，即係點樣學做嘢㗎嘛。So that's why I said I will find someone not in Chinese, then we will learn from him. I learned a lot from him, really.
And I learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that my skill set is going towards Western style narration, right? And it includes all kinds of things like subplot and foreshadowing and so forth. And I learned through Rosa that Cantonese opera doesn't have these things. And I went like, and I went, oh, wait a minute. It's very refined. It's a very refined way of storytelling, and so requires actually a higher level of skill, which I'm trying to meet as I work, to making everything very, very precise and in that moment. No flashbacks, no flash forwards, none of the stuff that we have.
Yeah, I think he used a lot of the movie technique.
Yeah.
So when he sent me the first draft, I looked, oh, so many dialogues.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it in a Cantonese opera? You know, in Cantonese opera, the way we write a script is, first of all, it will compose all the poems, rhyme, poems. Then we will put in the music. But if so many dialogue, when you sing, you know, I don't know if you know Chinese poem. When I tell him, I love you, there are many ways. They will say, oh, you look like a flower, or you look like a bird. They never say, I love you. They will have all kind of descriptions to apply that, yeah. Then you know I love you, right?
I'm learning now, because in the script we're reading, they say I love you.
Yeah, just to say I love you would take a few minutes to say it. So if I'm doing what he sent me with the script or the dialogue, how are we going to do this? 嗱，我頭先話，因為咧我就收到第一個唔係正式嘅劇本啦嚇，咁我睇到哇咁多嘢講嘅點解？你知啦，我哋啲粵劇劇本係首先我哋作晒詩，咁由我哋先講嘅，先至唱嘅嘛，係咪？咁同埋講一句我愛你咧，就唔會佢唔會講我愛你噶嘛。你真係靚啦，好似花咁啊，好似草咁啊，咁啊係咪？咁你變咗，如果好似咁樣唱法咧，我哋唱唔掂啦。So when I received his first draft, I couldn't sleep. So I said, how can I did it in a polite way that he won't get offended, right?
No. Writing is rewriting.
So I told him the way Cantonese opera composed, tell him that we do poems, and then we will do a very indirect way to express, right? So I tell you the truth, I never tell my husband I love him. See, when you're in your script, the last scene, I don't know how Leo is our Cantonese opera composer. I don't know how he will put it in, because all kinds of descriptions, or I don't know. That is a new way for him to learn. Okay.
It's a work in progress, absolutely. I think that what we're planning on is to premiere this in 2025. So what we have here to show you is a kind of a skeleton, a kind of a sense of the story moving forward. The scene that we've chosen to show is the scene where there is a demonstration in Vancouver's Chinatown, where the young people are fighting for the rights, and the sort of slow and progressive change that's happening with the Canadian government because of the need to involve Chinese young men in the Second World War. And so it's a kind of dark time in history, but also one that speaks to human resilience. And one thing that I'm really looking forward to, many people might know the song We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn. It's a wartime nostalgic thing, and what we want to do is include that song sung in Cantonese with Cantonese instrumentation, and we're talking to the people who own the rights to see if we can do that. So I think it really is musically, intellectually, heart-wise, I think it's a very interesting collaboration.
呢個係叫做新派粵劇 ，Peter 咧就會幫我哋作 一個我哋嘅主題曲，同埋我哋會咧用第二次世界大戰嗰時咧有一首歌咧係好出名嘅，係英國嘅，叫做 We Will Meet Again。咁我覺得呢一首歌咧好有意思。咁同埋咧，我會叫阿 Leo 咧將呢首歌咧譯咗做中文，咁我哋會唱嘅。咁同埋咧嗰首英文嘅我哋都會喺個 opera 裏面播嘅。我覺得好啱情節咯。Okay, so thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right now, our draft is in a very rough draft. We need to like polish it more and put it more depth. I'm the founder and artistic director of Vancouver Cantonese Opera. That is me in my makeup. Chinese opera, the signature makeup is beautiful. And also, you look 20 years younger. When you put on makeup, you really look 20 years younger. Of course, if you are 20 years old, then you don't want to put it on. 嗱，我哋粵劇化妝咧係戚晒眉之後咧，年輕咗20歲嘅。The technique is because we did a lot of the non-surgical facelift. So if you come into our green room before, you won't recognize us. Everybody is white-faced and with all the kind of scotch tape all over your face. Then that is the after. You won't see any scotch tape. We bought a lot of surgical tape from London Drug, so we did a lot of the non-surgical facelift. I wish we can do it on everyday life. Okay, let me introduce our composer, Peter Tam.
Thank you. 多謝。
Peter was our composer for our first fusion opera, The Prop Master's Dream. He was fantastic. He composed a theme song for us. In Cantonese opera, we really never have any theme song. We do have songs very famous for that opera, but it's not meant to be a theme song. I'll let Peter talk.
Okay. I think I got involved because I know a little bit about Chinese opera, Cantonese opera, and I'm more of the Western musical style, jazz, that type of thing. So I think initially we were going to just have some infusion. And in Prop Master Dream, it was pretty easy because Leo, our co-writer, he writes everything in Cantonese. 佢寫晒個中文嗰啲歌，同埋我嗰啲歌係咪純粹係英文？ So all the songs that I wrote are in English, and they were not mixed. They were just, one song, another song. So that was easy. Now this next one we're working on, I think we're going to try to do some infusion. So this is where I don't know how we're going to do it yet. So this is all new. 我呢個Rosa 做呢個 project 未曾試過，所以我哋要去發明一新嘢出嚟。It's not much for me to tell you right now because I haven't started. I got the script. I have some ideas of what to do, but you don't know how it's going to work until you work with the musician, you work with, try it out with the actor. And so there's going to be some experiment. 好多要實驗去睇下試下有乜嘢可以做得到，做唔到。So, but that's how we create new things. 喺呢個世界裏邊，我哋而家去創造一個新嘅genre 出嚟，一個 so 嗱我啲中文英文亂晒龍，因為我喺度長大 so I'm trying my best. So I grew up here, so yeah, so 有度好咧就係佢哋嗰陣時叫我做竹星 because I'm I'm just I look Chinese but
You know the meaning of 竹星?
No.
兩頭都唔通啊
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on right now.
Juk and bamboo, right? They are not like you cannot go through the bamboo. So the inside of bamboo, this is block and this is the block. So that's 兩頭都唔通.
So that's what they call me.
Yeah.
Or banana. So this is going to be a challenge, and I'm ready to work with. We got some really nice people here working. I worked with Leo last time a little bit, and so I think this time we're going to do some more. We're going to do more infusion, 將佢混合中文、英文, and I think this time reading the script, I'm going to be putting some jazz in there because that period, okay, 嗰個時代個 jazz is very popular. So and also 我諗住有啲scene 好似個 protest 啊嗰陣時嗰啲。We can turn it into like how some musical where everybody's singing. So 一個好似廣東話嘅Chinese opera style, but with something like mixed up like a West Side Story type of musical singing and orchestration. So that's what I'm thinking.
I think this is exciting. But the other way is to train a Cantonese opera to sing jazz. Okay, start listening to jazz and then start singing some jazz. I think it's great. You have to learn something new every day. I like it.
Yeah, so the orchestra is going to be a little bit different.
Okay. 頭先Peter 話咧，佢創作咧會諗住加啲爵士音樂啊嗰啲嘅。咁我同佢哋講，喂，你哋開始聽下爵士音樂啦嚇，唔好成日聽住粵曲啊。咁啊，開始聽熟咗咧，就開始學唱啦。Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
大家好，我係嚟自香港嘅李霆鋒。咁今次咧，亦都係我第2次參與燕鳳鳴劇團嘅新編粵劇啦。咁上一次咧就係呢一個道具大師的尋根夢。咁今次咧亦都會係有一個新嘅粵劇，就係 Awakening。咁我哋呢兩個粵劇其實我哋都有一個相似之處嘅，就係同一般傳統粵劇咧係有分別嘅。我哋傳統粵劇通常都係會以古代嘅故事啦，或者係才子佳人啦去做背景去講述一啲故事。但係我哋呢兩個嘅戲咧，呢兩個嘅新戲咧，其實係會以加拿大家籍華人嚟做背景去取材翻一啲故事出嚟，咁希望大家睇嘅時候有更加多嘅共鳴啦。咁上一次我哋就係以關華坤嚟做一個故事背景，講述佢喺加拿大嚟到加拿大嘅時候點樣奮鬥，點樣去成為一個喺粵劇舞台上面嘅不可多得嘅功臣啦。咁而今次呢，我哋係會將個背景呢再放大啲，咁就係會以家籍華人喺加拿大奮鬥嘅成個華人組叫做組織啦，咁樣喺加拿大奮鬥嘅歷史嚟嘅。咁當中亦都牽涉到係喺當年家籍華人受到一啲不平等嘅對待啦，佢哋點樣去忍耐，然後先有今時今日喺加拿大社會嘅地位啦。咁我相信呢一個戲咧係會令到大家產生好多共鳴啦，同埋可能會對家籍華人嘅歷史咧會有更加大嘅認識嘅。咁希望大家會喜歡呢套戲，多謝。
Our next guest speaker.
So I just want to say my parents, Young Dai Wing and Gertie Kwan, were married in 1930. I don't know how they could afford such an elaborate wedding, but it looked great. Yeah. So they spent their early years living in Shanghai Alley. I had 2 sisters, Luann and Anne, and 2 brothers, Alan and Ken. I was the 4th child in our family. In the early 1900s, Shanghai Alley was a very vibrant street with many retail shops. Oh, here's our family, 7 of us, in front of Shanghai Sing Kew Theatre. So this is Shanghai Alley, and on the left is the narrowest building in the world, and Sing Kew Theatre would be right down the end, I guess. And all these buildings used to be shops there, but now there were hardly any shops, and the places were boarded up, and the people, bachelor men and families, lived in these quarters. So just looking north, and that is the Sing Kew Theatre on the right. It's just a wall of bricks. There's no elaborate entrance or anything. Okay, behind the third person there is the entrance to Sing Kew Theatre. It was just a little ticket booth, and there was two great big doors that you go into the theater. Nothing elaborate at all. The theater, there were about 400 seats on the ground floor, and there were 100 seats in the balcony, and the concession was upstairs. And we used to buy melon seeds, peanuts, candy, little red wafers, roasted black beetles. That was our favorite place. We were always upstairs. There were about 100 seats upstairs, so in between buying our goodies, we'd watch a little bit of the opera. We were in the theater almost every evening because children were let in for free. The adults paid 25 cents. On our street, Marshall Wells was at the end, on the south end of the street. And on our side was the Sing Kew Theatre, a barber shop, and our store. Across the street was a tofu shop where bricks of tofu were made. We could see the cockroaches running up and down the walls. Further down the street was a butcher shop where we bought 5 cents worth of pork and 5 cents worth of beef for our evening meal. And sometimes the butcher would give us a large bone for my mother to make soup. We lived on the third floor at 546 Shanghai Alley in very cramped quarters. All 7 of us occupied one bedroom about 12 by 14 feet. The beds were almost on top of each other, and the dining table was a folding card table. The uncles, they were the bachelor men who could not bring their families over from China, so they all lived there at the store, and they cooked there and shared one toilet and one sink. Their bedroom was on the main second floor, and there were about 8 or 10 beds, but the beds weren't really beds. They were like planks with the mattress on top. And underneath that were their trunks, and they had all their worldly possession stored there. And there were a couple of stools and a couple of spittoons, but there was no other furniture. There was no window and only one single light bulb to light up the place. My mother had a Kodak Brownie camera and took many pictures of our family and friends. And my mother took us to the movie houses to see The Wizard of Oz, Tarzan, Lassie Come Home, Roy Rogers, and Gene Autry.
Laurie, can I do some translations?
Yes.
OK。頭先阿 Laurie 咧，佢咧就係住喺上海里啊，即係依家嘅中橋後邊啊，唐人街嗰個就醒橋戲院喺嗰度。咁佢咧就係住喺醒橋戲院隔離，佢住3樓嘅。咁佢哋嗰時嗰啲人咧，即係好細地方啦，好多人一齊住嘅。咁咧佢哋咧成日去睇戲啦，但係原來細路仔係唔使錢嘅，帶人入場咧就2毫半紙。佢最中意咧就係小食部啦，買嘢食啊，有瓜子啊，有花生啊咁樣啦。佢頭先啱啱講完咧，佢住嘅地方咧就係3樓，但係咧就好多人住。其實當時我諗當時都係好普通㗎啦，就係一家人一伙住好多伙人嘅一陣。
Here's a bachelor uncle. They could not bring their families over, so they looked after us and treated us. And the bachelor uncles would take us to the park and to the Beacon Theatre, where we would enjoy watching magicians, comedians, the circus, and burlesque. I remember seeing Sally Rand with her feather fans and Yvette there with her parrots that whipped away her sarong. It was supposed to be risque, but really I never saw anything naughty. It was just an illusion for a titillating experience.
OK，阿 Laurie 話咧，你睇唔睇到個牆邊咩？你有個男人咧，就係佢個佢哋嗰幾個 bachelor uncle，即係未結婚嘅 uncle 啦。咁呢個 uncle 咧就成日帶佢哋去睇第二啲演出啊、電影啊，同埋睇係咪魔術啊嗰啲啊。
Oh yes, there's another uncle, and they would take us to the BC Royal for pastries. We'd have apple tarts and pie and pound cake. And they would take us to the Model Cafe for a 4-course English meal.
Wow.
We were so thrilled because that was such a treat for us.
Laurie 仲有呢個第二個 uncle， 又係成日帶佢哋去食嘢啊，去玩啊。
Yeah, we were quite spoiled. So the Sing Kew Theatre was next door to our building. We attended the operas almost every evening. There was a booth in the alcove where one could buy tickets, and 2 huge wooden doors open to let in the patrons. The admission for adults was 25 cents. And upstairs, I already told you that was a concession. And my sister, Luann, said the Beatles smelled like urine and wouldn't eat them. I like the red wafers best. Sanjago.
山楂頭。阿 Laurie 咧就話咧，佢哋就嗰個戲院咧睇佢隔離啦，就有道好大嘅門嘅。咁但係戲院側邊個門側邊咧就有個賣飛嘅，即係你可以去嗰度買飛。咁到門就係大門入戲院咯。咁佢哋頭先都話咗入場係2毫半紙。咁喺上邊咧啲小食部啊、花生啊、瓜子啊，仲有嗰啲叫做山楂糕啊。
Okay, we enjoyed seeing the painted faces and beautiful glittering costumes, and enjoyed the sounds of the erwu, gongs and cymbals, and the falsetto voices. We also remember the gestures, mincing steps of the actresses, flinging of the long sleeves, and other actions. Even as a young child, I could sort of understand what those gestures meant.
咁佢記得咧就嗰啲佢，因為我哋以前 at that time all the costume were with sequins, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
They're
sparkling, right?
Yes. No, actually, yours are very beautiful too.
Yeah.
With all the feathers and
Yes.
things that don't go.
Yeah, because in
Vibrated.
the olden day they use sequins on all your costume, but it's heavy, very heavy, and also it's very labor intensive. So eventually they do the embroidery. 呀，咁佢細個咧就睇，你知啦，你去睇大戲就好靚噶嘛，花旦係咪？又有頭飾啊，有衫啊，咁啊佢好中意睇，佢識睇啲戲喎，佢話佢明白嗰啲手勢啊 ，the miming, the gesture, she understand， 佢知道，yeah.
Yeah. We saw plays of The Monkey King, White Serpent Spirit, Battles of the Warring States, and many classic love stories. The performances started at 6 and lasted till way past midnight.
Yeah. So 啱啱阿 Laurie 話咧，佢最中意睇孫悟空啦，白蛇傳啦，咁咧6點鐘開場至到12點鐘夜晚嘅。
So the atmosphere of the theater was very informal. People got out of their seats at will to go to the bathroom, purchase snacks, chase their kids, etc. But it was a very important place for families and the bachelor men to visit and to socialize with their friends. We knew a few of the actresses. Rosa Cheng, there she is. And then the next one, Ma Ping-hing. Another, that's my sister. And Rosa Cheng took a fancy to me and wanted my mother to give me to her. In those days it happens. Yes.
古玉清咧就係do you want Nick? Yeah, this is OK。古玉清咧就係Laurie 嘅叫做契媽喎，佢話古玉清中意佢喎，叫佢阿媽俾咗佢啊。
But my mother would not agree, of course, and but she allowed her to be my godmother. She and her husband, Wong Toy, lived at the Balmoral Hotel on Hastings Street. And in those days, it was considered very posh.
Oh.
Now I think it's being torn down. She would take me to the hotel to stay overnight, and she bought me fancy clothes, baby Janes, oh, there it is, shoes, and ribbons for my hair. Her husband, Wong Toi, was quite a wealthy and prominent person.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he was shot and killed about 1941. The killer was not caught, but it was rumored that the person who shot him was a jealous lover. So the Sing Kew Theatre, due to falling attendance, was closed in about 1942 or 1943. My godmother, Rosa Cheng, had no visible means of support, no husband, no job. She had to find employment, so she took a job as a waitress at the BC Royal Cafe and later moved to Nanaimo to work in one of the Chinese restaurants. I lost touch with her, and I never saw her again. So Marshall Wells Hardware Wholesaler wanted to expand their business and took over our property at Shanghai Alley, so we had to move. So in conclusion, I want to say that I had a very happy and unique childhood, and I'm very fortunate that my mother had a camera to record all these pictures and history of in that era. And I also want to thank Rosa Cheng for allowing me to share my experiences of my young years.
Thank you, Laurie. We were very lucky to have Laurie telling us her childhood. English script reading from all professional actors. OK， 依家咧就係由英文劇本朗誦嘅，佢哋全部都係專業嘅演員嚟嘅。就由Mr. Stephen Atkins 帶領佢哋。Give them a big hand.
So I'll speak without the microphone because we're setting them up for the actors. I'll ask the actors to introduce themselves to you in a very short minute, but I'll give you a very, very brief idea about the story up until now. So, sorry. We had some last-minute shuffling to do in order to accommodate different schedules. But I'll ask all the actors to introduce themselves and give you the story up until now. So, first of all, the role of Connie will be played by Rosa Cheng.
Yes, I'm Connie.
And going down the line.
Hi, I'm Sarah Conway. I'm an actor, playwright, and clown performer here in Vancouver.
Hi, my name is Hans Gore. I'm a current student at Capilano University. I'm a theater and film actor.
Hello, my name is Janita Thiessen. I am a multidisciplinary person doing lots of things that don't make me a lot of money.
Hi, my name is Adrian. I actually work in finance and started dabbling in acting, so I'm doing that for fun.
Hi, my name is Ty Leatham. I'm just a student at Capilano, and I get to be taught by Stephen Atkins here.
Hi, my name is Michael Keating. I am an actor and writer, and I work at the airport and will be playing Jack Lee.
Hi, I'm Len LaFond. I am also a student at Capilano University in the Acting for Stage and Screen program, and I'm mostly a theater actor, but I do some film as well.
And I'll be playing a role in this as well. I'll be playing Mrs. Lee.
Stephen, you
Yes?
want to introduce to them the character?
Yes. Well, yeah, we can introduce the characters as well. So I'll be playing Mrs. Lee, and Mrs. Lee is the actor manager of the Sing Kew Theatre. I'm also playing a little role as Ama, which is we decided that the Sing Kew Theatre is such a unique entity in the story that the Sing Kew Theatre has like a spirit, or as a narrator. So I'm also Ama, the narrator. But can you introduce your characters?
Yeah.
I am playing the character of William Wesley. He is a Polish Jew of Polish Jew descent, and he is immigrations officer for the Department of Immigration, who comes forward to help the protesters, the Cantonese protesters, in while they're trying to get away from the Chinese Exclusion Act.
I play Jack Lee, and he is a Chinese gangster, and he's just here to cause some trouble.
I'll be playing Kevin Chan, the president of the Chinese Youth Association.
And I'm playing May, a young Chinese Canadian girl.
I'll be playing Peony Kwan, who is a young Cantonese opera singer who has just moved to Canada.
I'll be playing James Wong, a young Chinese Canadian man caught in a love story.
I'll be playing the police officer who, you know what they do. And also I'll be reading stage directions.
Okay, I'll be playing Connie. Connie is the sister of James Wong. And I like to make corrections. Is May actually, like Peony is the artist from in China, and May came with her. She is also a Cantonese opera artist.
Great.
Yeah.
Story up till now. Peony and May have traveled all the way from Hong Kong to come to Vancouver to seek a new life. However, due to this injustice of having to pay extra to come to Canada, they had to have a sponsor, and that sponsor is the shady character of Jack. And now they owe him money. And Jack is sort of like the underbelly of the community in Chinatown. He's probably a little bit resistant to this idea of people getting rights, because then he loses a little bit of power over them. But people are getting the word that they can act up and get some freedom. So in this scene, what we hope to do is evoke the idea of a demonstration involving thousands, with only our actors on stage, and the involvement of audience members. So if you feel free, please take a sign. Be aware that people are behind you and might have trouble seeing, but feel free to wave it and involve yourself with our protest for the against the Exclusion Act.
I made those signs yesterday, all by myself.
Gorgeous.
Okay, you guys ready?
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Act 3. Tensions rise. Clash in Chinatown. Setting: Chinatown, East Pender, and Main Street. Kevin, Connie, and James enter with signs and pass them out to the audience members.
Here, take your signs. We need to get more people on Kiefer Street.
Yeah. We are leading the march down Pender to Main Street. Those of you on our team, follow me.
Peony and May enter the crowd from the back of the audience.
Peony, May, what are you doing here?
We want to help.
We'll stand with you.
Are you sure?
You're not permanent residents yet, or citizens.
James is right. You're still under the watch of the immigration office. If you get arrested, you could be deported.
Can we make signs?
Maybe we can feed people.
That's a good idea. Food and refreshments, that's not political.
Follow me. If the police show up, just run. They'll come after us first.
Jack enters. He walks through the audience with his thugs, making intimidating gestures and mocking the audience members who have signs.
What do you people think you're doing here?
Hey, we're fighting for equality, the right to vote, fair treatment, jobs we all need. Everything the Chinese Exclusion Act has brought down on us.
They've got everything stitched up. We're segregated. We can't even go swimming in a public pool.
Who cares about swimming? It's Vancouver. It's too cold. Let's pack this up. Don't let them lead you astray.
Are you insane? Can't you see what this country is doing to you and me? This war is growing and soon we'll all be pushed to the side, a footnote with no chance to be free.
Last February, they rounded up all the Japanese Canadians and put them in camps.
And they seized all their property.
A good reason not to provoke them. They're at war, trust me. When you're looking for a fight, everything's fair game, and they'll always be right. Take a page from your grandmother's advice. You'll catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Why not try being nice?
Don't listen to him. Look where being nice gets you. It's time for action.
Everyone listen. You can't believe this man. Jack Lee is the same as the others who oppress us. They are two sides of the same coin. In the heart of our city is a story old as time, of the women and men and the shadows bound by one man's narrow line. Hear my voice, I am but one, but together we can rise. For the power of many can never be denied.
Rise up, form a line, break the chains. Don't be silenced or restrained. The throne of fear will crumble fast when people stand and break the past.
The suit of armor, a crown and ring of gold. An expensive suit, an extra form to fill out.
A line to keep you waiting.
A line to keep you out.
Everyone rises, break the chains. In our heart, freedom reigns.
Let's take to the streets. Let's chase down the dream.
It's time to climb the mountain. We're worth more than they say. We'll make a difference.
Peony, May, I thought you two would be the ones with brains. I'm truly disappointed in you. Get smart or get sent back. You'll have wasted all the opportunities. You have it here. Hey, I have an idea. Come with me. I have a high-paying job for you from a client in the United States. He wants a private showing.
Jack tries to grab Peony.
Hey, back off.
We all know what you mean. Stop dragging us down.
Connie, you had a good sense to stop your brother from harassing me at the theater. Step out of my way.
James jumps Jack. A few of Jack's goons engage with Kevin and James as demonstrators. One big fight breaks out. Some of the women get in on it, holding handles as weapons. The fighting reaches a crescendo when it's interrupted by William Wesley, who enters blowing a whistle while holding a piece of paper up in the air. Everyone stops, obviously intimidated by William.
Okay, so, what's going on?
Everyone is stunned and responds with shrugs, silence, or pointing a finger.
Who the heck are you? You're not a cop. Because if you were a real cop, you would have stayed out of my way like the rest.
No, I'm not. I'm just,
What's this whistle for?
I coach my son's soccer team, so... I'm William Wesley. I'm from the Department of Immigration. I'm here to help. We're at a breaking point with the war, and adding more tension isn't going to help. I think we can get through this without any more strife.
Are we finally being heard?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're just here to make some kind of deal, I'm sure.
I don't have the power to do anything. I'm simply here to advise and discuss.
Talk is cheap. Turn him upside down. I bet you'll find a price tag.
Jack and his gang exit.
We have all the community leaders here right now. I'm the president of the Chinese Youth Association. Mr. Chan is the president of the Chinese Benevolent Association. Mr. Sun is the president of the Hongmen Ji Gongteng.
Do we have a place to meet? Community hall or church? Something like that?
The Sing Kew Theatre is for meetings and debates. It's right over there in the Shanghai Alley.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's go.
Follow us. To the Sing Kew Theatre. Both teams to the theater.
All exit. Act 4.
Sorry?
Act 4. Uniting for equality, fighting discrimination.
Our theater was more than a place for plays and laughter. It was the heart of our community. Town hall meetings, debates, lectures. The great Dr. Sun Yat-sen gave speeches right here. As we moved the crowd in from the street, we knew we had reached a turning point in our story.
Everyone enters.
Welcome. Please find a chair, a table, or a seat in the audience.
Wow, this is big. Who would have known it was here? All the theaters around town are being converted to movie palaces.
Well, this is for Cantonese Opera.
I guess we should start with a list of your concerns and grievances. Please, I'm all ears.
How do we know anything will come of this? I see you there in your expensive coat, your shiny shoes. You say you're here to help us out, but can I trust the words you spout?
Our freedom's on the line. It's clear to see.
Can we believe in your authority? Do you hold a key to a solution?
Can you be the change we need you to be?
Can we trust you with our future, sir?
Can we count on you? We're tired of empty promises and lies. Our hearts are weary, but our spirit's strong. The people's voice, it needs to be heard.
I know what you're feeling. No, not exactly. But I can tell you this. My name shouldn't be Wesley. My granddad's name was Jakub Weselowski. He and my parents were Polish Jews until they made it to Canada. So I have a genuine reason to listen and to help. You've weathered the storms, you've stood your ground so firm. Through struggles and battles, you yearned for reform. But now there's a possibility, a shift in the air, a brighter tomorrow. Together, we'll share.
Unity, it's guiding our ways, leading us to a brand new day.
With voices united, we'll break every chain. A brighter tomorrow, let our hope remain.
Changing minds is too hard. You have to change their heart.
Through actions.
You have to be seen playing a role in society. You can fight, but not against them, for them. You can stand up for them. I have heard that the government might ease restrictions and start enlisting soldiers of Asian descent. A foot in the door. With courage, you're finding your way through to a future that's bright where the skies are blue. Turning the tide, you're on the other side. A glimmer of hope, a change in the air, you can feel it in the breeze.
We're writing a new chapter. We'll raise our voices, let our hearts be our guide. In this moment of change, we'll stand side by side.
A brighter tomorrow, it's within our reach. With hope as our anchor, together we will teach.
As veterans, we'll have the right to vote.
And that's a way to lobby for equal rights, but baby steps first. You have to be allowed to enlist first.
Well, if we got that, I'd be first in line.
Policeman and Jack Lee enter. Okay, break this up. What are you doing here? Is this some kind of commie rally?
Officer, may I help you? I am a representative of the immigration department.
Mr. Jack Lee here has reported a dangerous disturbance. Physical violence.
Has he? Well, I can say that I think Mr. Lee might be antagonizing the situation, and that he has been bragging about having police officers on the payroll.
I don't know about any of that.
I understand. Maybe Mr. Lee likes to exaggerate.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's it? You're useless. Are you some kind of trainee? You need to ask more questions. For example, I know for a fact that 2 of these political agitators are non-citizens. They're a menace to Canada.
Is this true? Let me see your identification.
Oh no.
Send them back. Kick them out.
Wait. Peony and James are getting married. They're fiancés. They're engaged.
James and Peony both look surprised. What about you? Kevin and May quickly stand together with a wry smile on their faces. Who are the witnesses? How do we know this isn't some kind of joke? All the people in attendance raise their hand.
They're pulling your leg. Arrest them.
Jack, I think they got this sewn up. I'm going to get back to my business.
Hey, wait a minute. You're working on my dime. I'll tell you when your job is done.
The police and Jack exit. The police ignores Jack's lame threats.
Now where were we? After that, we shared a meal. William Wesley Weselowski loved the pork fried rice. We told him char siu means barbecue pork, but he dove right in anyway.
When we bid each other goodnight, it was the start of a beautiful friendship, as Humphrey Bogart would say. Because after our community dinner,
James and Kevin, I think your ideas will work.
Oh, it's amazing what you can get done in a single afternoon.
Not in one afternoon, but decades of work. It's only just starting to pay off now. I feel freedom getting closer. There's only one thing left to do to make sure everything we hope for today really happens.
What's that?
Setting a wedding date for James and Peony and Kevin and May.
Everybody applauds and says goodbye, leaving James and Peony in the theater.
In your love, I'm lost in time's embrace. Moments stretch like rivers flowing at their pace.
We are the hourglass and the sand that falls. We are time itself. In your arms, I find my all.
In the clockwork of our days, we dance and sway. Each moment that passes is a chapter in our play. Our love is an ancient river's endless flow, and in a universe of clocks, our love forever grows. But time, it gives and takes with each passing season. We must treasure what we have for one simple reason.
I love you, Peony.
I love you, too,
Forever.
forever.
Lights dim, end of Act 4.
They are very professional, very good. Give them another hand. You have anything to say, Stephen?
Only that I hope you see this as the uptick, and the event that comes now is the complication. There's war, there's all kinds of turbulence, but a hopeful ending.
Thank you very much. Let me introduce our actor. This is Vivian Cole, and she is going to be the narrator, Amma. So she will be doing the narrations. This is, you can tell right from his look, right? He's a bad guy. So see, you can see, he must ate a lot, right? And because he had all those money. Okay, and this is Jackie Lam, and he plays James. And then this is Kelvin, the president of the Chinese Youth Society. And this is Mei Ling. Mei Ling is another Cantonese opera artist, came from China, together with Peony. They were just like sisters. And this is Mrs. Lee. And this is Crystal, and she's going to be Connie. Connie is the sister of James. Okay, so I'm Peony.
今日一大批嘅年青人集合喺片打東街舉行一個集會，佢哋係為咗爭取自由同埋平等。佢哋反對佢哋唔可以有投票權，同埋中國嘅學生唔可以選讀專業嘅課程，甚至乎連泳池都唔可以入去。佢哋希望政府能夠一視同仁、公平同埋公正咁對待不同國籍嘅公民。
反對歧視，爭取平等；反對歧視，爭取平等；反對歧視，爭取平等；反對歧視。
我哋一定要攞住呢啲嘅牌咧，就吸引更多喺Peter Street 嗰啲人。係啊，
我哋要帶領隊伍，沿著片打街前進。嗰啲支持我哋嘅人一齊嚟。
係，咦，牡丹，你嚟？
你認錯啦！
我嚟幫手啊嘛！我哋一定會站喺你嗰度㗎。
你哋真係想幫手？
你哋都仲未係公民。
James 講得啱，我哋仲係喺移民局嘅你哋仲喺移民局嘅監視底下，如果俾捉到嘅話咧，你哋可能會被驅逐出境嘅喎。
其實我哋可以幫你哋示威牌咯。係啊，不如我要俾啲食物啊，自己嘅飲料俾你哋咯，好唔好啊？
呢個主意好啊！食物同政治有咩關係啊？
嗱，跟住我嚇。如果警察出現咧，我哋就走，咁咧就佢哋會捉我嘅啫嚇。
爭取平等，爭取平等，
爭取平等。
有。
平咩等啊？
平等梗平等啦。
你咁高，我去咁矮，仲話平等？我哋喺度爭取平等，係為咗投票權利公平對待。我哋係需要做嘢嘅。
冇錯。你知唔知啊？我哋係成日都被歧視，又被排擠，又隔離咗，甚至乎去游水都唔得。係。
反對歧視，反對歧視，
反對。快啲走啦！ 散水流咪俾啲綠衣人見到捉晒我哋㗎。
你哋咪癲咗㗎！你哋睇唔到呢個國家對我哋做咗啲咩嘢咩？呢場戰爭咧喺度擴大，好快咧我哋就被邊緣化㗎啦，走投無路，永遠就冇機會得到自由，到公平嘅待遇㗎啦。舊年2月咋，佢哋就捉咗一啲嘅加拿大、日本人啊，走咗去即係運咗喺集中營嗰度啊。
政府仲沒收咗佢哋嘅財產。
係最好就唔好惹佢哋。你哋唔知道佢哋而家係打緊仗啊！打緊仗，佢哋揾你哋而家喺度撩交打，係嘛？同政府鬥係咪傻㗎？佢哋永遠都贏嘅。我哋就輸緊，咪你哋就輸緊啦。記唔記得啊？我哋阿媽成日都同我哋講，攞啲蜜糖嚟引蜜蜂引蒼蠅，唔係烏蠅就點都好過用醋啊，係咪？點解你哋唔用個友善啲嘅方法嚟做呢樣嘢咧？嘿，唔好聽佢講。我嘅説話你都唔聽。友善係帶嚟啲乜嘢啊？我哋依家係行動嘅時候。
爭取平等，反對歧視。爭取平等。爭取平等。
聽個人講啊，呢個係壞人嚟㗎。喂阿 Jack 你哋同嗰啲人一樣都壓迫我哋㗎喎。
我幾時有壓迫過你？
你狼狽為奸啊！
我冇。
你冇好嘢㗎你。
喂，我係幫你哋㗎，你哋唔知。
我喺度有。
人當賊辦，你哋而家硬係。
喂，我哋應該團結起嚟，眾志成城，然後排成一行，打破枷鎖，排除萬難，唔好再保持沉默，要受限制，一齊站起嚟創造未來。
創造未來，創造未來。
我哋內心有一股熱情，真心真金不怕紅爐火。呢個空心老官，關我乜嘢事啊？虛偽嘅真係好啊！搞得好啊！
衰人啊！
我哋要勇敢站起來，
排成一列，打破枷鎖，排除萬難。
不要再保持沉默，受限制，一齊站起來，
創造未來。冇錯，
我哋爬上巔峰，追尋夢想，我哋會有所作為嘅。
我牡丹阿美玲，我以為你哋係聰明人啊！我真係對你哋好失望啊！醒目啲啦！唔係就拉鬼晒你哋翻去㗎啦！你哋會冇晒啲機會。我到晚有個主意喎。跟我嚟！我有個高薪嘅工作介紹俾你哋。係咩啊？嗰日啊有個美國嘅客，哇！佢話要睇下有冇啲私人約會，咁我跟我嚟啦！如果想乜嘢就嗱，跟我嚟。
行開啦！我知你想點㗎，唔好拖累我哋啊！
哇！你夠叻，係就唔該你叫你阿哥唔好喺個戲院度騷擾我。
哎呀，阿 Jack 推開阿 Connie， 咁
搞實。
推開阿 Connie， 跟住阿 Jack 嘅打手咧就同阿 Kelvin 嘅打手嗰啲示威者發生衝突，其中咧啲女性都參加埋一齊，手持物品作為武器，互相打鬥。就喺呢個時候，突然間佢哋見到阿 William 入嚟，佢吹住口哨，拎住張紙，個人見到佢都感到害怕。
Okay, so what's going on here?
係啊！你係邊個嚟㗎？係唔係警察啊？你神啊！No, I'm 我唔係警察就行埋一邊好似佢哋咁。
I just coached my son's soccer team, so.
吹咩 BB 咧而家？
I'm from the Department of Immigration.
咁你即係唔係警察啦 ？You're not a cop.
No, I'm here to help. See, we're at a breaking point with this war, and just adding more tension isn't going to help anything. So I think that getting through it means no more strife. Yeah? Oh.
咦？我係咪俾人聽到啊
？Yes, you are.
好似傾掂咗咁咯噃。
No, I don't have any power to do anything, really. I'm just simply here to advise.
講有鬼用咩？咪鬼聽佢講啦！遲早啊，你哋都知係乜嘢價錢。係話你哋又唔聽。
阿 Jack 同埋佢啲手下走咗啦。
我哋啊，即係唔少社區領袖喺呢個地方，我哋知唔知啊？我咧就係咧中華青年會嘅會長，你嗰位陳生啊，就係咧中華福利會嘅會長，仲有啊嗱呢個紅門㗎，紅門啊紅門嘅主席鄧志剛嚇，我估係啩。
So, do you have a place to meet? I mean, a church or a community hall or something?
Hey, Mrs. Lee. Where's Mrs. Lee? Mrs. Tam.
個醒橋戲院咧係一開嘅喎，就係嗰度啫嘛，喺上海嚟嘅。
Oh, sounds good to me.
爭咗定啦！
No, I'm really improvising here.
So are we leaving? Yeah, you can leave now. Okay, it's the scene 4.
爭取平等，反對歧視。
I need some input from the audience because scene 4 is almost all English. So what should we do? Like I don't feel really proper for all my Cantonese opera troupe to speak English. So if we have a Chinese colloquial say 雞同鴨講. Do you know what that means? That means the chicken is talking to the duck. So they are speaking when it's gap, 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 when it's cook, cook, cook. So should we do that? Should we speak Cantonese? And then William will speak in English.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he knew what we are talking about. So that's in my mind. What are we going to do really when we are on stage? Now we are doing the script, right? Because I translate all the English to Chinese in Act 3. So Act 4, because it's all I don't know is it proper that every time when William appear, should we all speak English? I gave you a feedback sheet. Let me know. What should we do? Okay, let's carry on.
Okay.
Act 4.
唔單止係一個戲劇同埋歡笑嘅地方，佢仲係我哋社區嘅核心點。市政廳嘅會議、辯論同埋演講嘅地方，偉大嘅孫中山博士佢就喺呢度演講嘅。當我哋將人群從街上引入嚟嘅時候，我哋知道我哋已經迎嚟咗新嘅轉折點。
Wow, this place is big. We wouldn't have known it was here.
I haven't booked you yet.
Oh,
Not your turn.
sorry.
This is
歡迎啊嗱，你哋大家入嚟咧坐啦，隨便攞嗰啲椅啊坐啊，邊度都冇所謂嘅。坐上去觀眾席都可以㗎嚇，唔好客氣。
Ah, wow. Who would have known it was here? I mean, all the theaters around town are being converted into cinema palaces.
佢哋嚟做大戲嘅 Chinese Opera。
Oh. I guess we should start with a list of your concerns and grievances. Please, I'm all ears.
喂，我真係唔知道你喺度搞乜喎？你睇下你身光頸靚，鞋又立令咁樣，你話會幫我哋？邊個信你啊？
係啦，嗱你睇下啦，我哋都冇晒自由啦。
係咯。
係啊，你睇下，我哋依家一啲權力都冇㗎。嗱，你就應該幫我哋手啦。
你真係幫到我哋？
喂，得唔得㗎？唔好空口講白話喎。我哋好擔心㗎，不過咧，我哋有鬥志。係。我哋咧啲群眾咧嘅聲音，我哋一定要聽嘅，係咪？
I know what you're feeling. Not exactly, but I can tell you this. My last name shouldn't be Wesley. My great-granddad was Yakov Weselowski. He and my parents were Polish Jews until they made it to Canada. So I had a genuine reason to listen and to help. You've weathered the storms. You've stood your ground so firm. Through struggles and battles, you've yearned for reform. But there's now a possibility, a shift in the air, a brighter tomorrow. Together, you'll share.
只要我哋團結一致，走向邁向新嘅一天。
係啊，我哋應該一齊合作，將我哋嘅一個聲，等個政府知道等我哋將來有個美好嘅未來，有希望。
Changing minds is too hard. What you have to do is change hearts.
Through actions.
You have to be seen playing a role in society. You can fight, but not against them, for them. You can stand up for them. I've heard that the government might ease restrictions and start enlisting soldiers of Asian descent. A foot in the door. With courage, you're finding your way through to a future that's bright, where the skies are blue. Turning the tide, you're on the other side. A glimmer of hope, a change in the air, you can feel it in the breeze.
我哋依家正在書寫一個新嘅篇章，我哋要高聲疾呼，等我哋嘅心靈引導我哋喺呢個變革嘅時代，我哋要用一齊企埋一齊。
更加明亮嘅明天就喺我哋觸手可及，將希望當作
我哋嘅
藍白，我哋將共同傳授。
冇錯啦，作為一個退伍軍人，我哋有投票權利嘅。
And that's the way to lobby for equal rights, but baby steps first. You'll have to be allowed to enlist first.
如果係，我就第一個去。
Policeman and gently enter.
Okay, break this up. What are you doing here? Is this some kind of commie rally?
Officer, may I help you? I'm a representative of the Immigration Department.
Mr. Jack Lee here has reported a dangerous disturbance. Physical violence.
I see. Well, I can say that I think Mr. Lee might be antagonizing the situation. He has been bragging about having all these police officers on the payroll.
I don't know about any of that.
把幾火啊，就係咁噶啦，有冇用㗎你？你啱啱喺學房出嚟嘅，問埋佢啲嘢問多兩句啊嘛，你睇其中有兩個唔係 City 手嚟㗎，佢哋對加拿大有害㗎，拉佢哋翻去啦。
Is this true? Let me see your identification.
查佢啦，去攞證件嚟。趕佢哋走啦！
唔得㗎，佢哋就嚟結婚㗎啦，佢哋定咗婚㗎啦。
定咗婚
唔得㗎。
你話我知冇用，你話俾佢知啊嘛。
唔好啊，佢哋就嚟結婚㗎啦，定咗婚㗎啦。英文講英文。我會叫你James and getting married. James fiancé they're engaged.
What about you? Who are the witnesses? How do we know this isn't some kind of joke?
哎呀，佢哋玩你㗎咋，拉晒佢哋翻去啊，趕佢哋走。
Jack, I think they got this sewn up. I'm going to get back to my business.
喂，你係咪做嘢㗎？喂，咁就走㗎啦，等埋我。哎呀，真係一使錢啦，使錢就變成咁嘅嘢，真係。
The police and Jack exit. The police ignore Jack's main threats.
嗱，而家我哋大家一齊食嘢。William，我知道你最中意食係叉燒炒飯。
經過今晚之後咧，我哋個友誼程度咧又可以邁向最美好㗎啦嚇！我記得有套電影Humphrey Bogart 講嘅，佢一句説話佢話 ：Because after our community dinner。
James, Kevin, I think your ideas are going to work.
喺一個下午可以做到咁多嘢，真係令人驚歎啊！
唔只係一個下午啊，係幾十年嚟嘅努力啊！而家開始喺度回報啦。我真係感到自由越嚟越近啊！剩翻件事要做嘅啫。咩事啊？就係好似我哋今日期望以後都會好快 成真啊！
乜嘢啊？
咩事啊？
哎呀，同阿 James 牡丹啊、Stephen 啊、美玲啦，揀個好日子結婚咯！
哦，哎呀，好啊，好啊！
Our next program is, even though the script is in a rough draft, so there's no song we can sing for you, but Jackie and I are going to sing songs from the Prop Master's Dreams. I hope you like it.
我唔係你親生嘅，
華坤，你做乜嘢啫？華坤，
我唔係中國人。賢良父母是怨是憤是騙是愛高，心絕往昔愛心有佢路，教養人須報。
無用報情未老，
因心我父母雙氣不見高，掩飾身世令我不知道。不知對錯，念到也在隱於義，愛之情更高。親生拋棄之，莫非佢愛惜已經氣絕埋歸道？
華坤，雖非親單子，卻分別全無。只為父母不是忘報，一腔心血為你付，情中何以你父母？
是非非，怎斷分毫？情濃十數年，欲養老，為是我心裏難棄親母。華困受困難斷離毫緣故。
華坤，你親生父母棄你如遺，你又何必傷心呢？何必掛住佢哋呢？我所謂生量不及養量大，我先至係你真正嘅母親啊！華坤，
唔係咁嘅，唔係咁嘅。養良須養哺，教兒須養父，怕親母憐愛之，已經血裏無，曾為我遍找世上無。關山周遍覓我前父母，撫養雖好恩厚天高，今生未報，親記親慈周遍天涯，能夠連亂報，怕分父母親可在 到。
華坤 Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. We were very lucky to have Jackie being Hua Kun, and he is going to be James in our next opera. Okay, so this concludes our workshops. But please complete the feedback sheet and give it back to us. And I would like to remind you, 2024, November the 2nd, we're going to remount the Prop Master Stream. Remount is because, like, we're going to compose, I asked Peter to compose more songs, another song for the mother, the indigenous mother, to sing. Because in this scene, when Hua Kun came back to Canada from China, he met an indigenous woman in Chinatown while he was looking. Actually, when I write the script, this woman was really his birth mother. But because of the language, Hua Kun only spoke Toy Sang, while his mother spoke English. So even if they talk, they don't understand each other. But when we had the premiere, she didn't sing any song at that scene. So I think it's not logical, because there's no way the audience know what's happening, right? So I'm going to ask Peter to compose another song. So the mother, we call it Lucy. Lucy was saying, when Hua Kun was talking to her, she was saying, this young man, why is he talking to me? But he looks almost the same age as my son. Do you think he's my son? But because destiny, my writing, when I wrote it, destiny did not arrange them to meet, to recognize each other. So eventually they went a separate way. But I'd like to have a song for her to sing, at least to show her that she's missing her son very much. And then she will think, is this my son? And then maybe she said, no, it's not possible. My son is lost. His father took him back to China. It's so far away. Yeah. So that's how we're doing. And we're also going to design English rap in our opera, the Prop Master Stream. Instead of the narration at the beginning of each scene, last time we have narration, English and Chinese, but we're going to design English rap. You know, in Cantonese opera, we have rap, but it's called Bat Lam. It's also when you speak dok, 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 dok with the rhythm, the percussion. So, but that will be said in English. Then maybe we will have another Chinese rap following the English. So I want to make it more color. And also one of the thing you notice is if you come to our first show, there will always be a play in Cantonese opera. Because the costume in this opera, or these opera, are not our costume in our traditional Cantonese opera. In the costume in our traditional Cantonese opera is always like the Song dynasty, the Ming dynasty. But the prop master and the awakening will be nowadays. So, but I want the people who come to our show to know what really Cantonese opera looks like when they are on stage, traditional art form. So there will be a play-in-play. So the next time we have this one, we will also design a play-in-play. So that's why when Stephen then sent me the draft, when we do the play-in-play, it has to be in the first scene. Why? Because it takes me 2 hours to put on the makeup and the costume. There's no way we can do any changes in between scenes, so it's always in the first scene. After this workshop, give us as many suggestions as possible. So should we say 雞同鴨講, the chicken talking to the duck? Is that a good way? And also the title, the Chinese title, Sing Wen and Sing Kew. Sing Kew is the name of the theater, but the Sing Kew literally means waking up the overseas immigrant, overseas Chinese. That's the literal meaning. So, but the Sing Wen is waking up the conscious of the overseas Chinese. So I hope you enjoy our workshop today. Thank you very much for coming.